10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What's up? Hola, peoples. How's everybody doing today? Make sure I got all my chats popped up here. Yeah, I think I do. Okay, yeah, I got both the chat for both the channels popped up here. Welcome. It's Week in Geek. How's everybody doing? Everybody having a good weekend so far? I didn't do shit today and took 2 naps.
That's all right. We've been sleeping a lot too, man. We'd wake up, stay up for a little bit, and
well, you have a reason to. I really don't. I just was so lazy today. I was just I'm finally watching Peaky Blinders.
Oh, that's good. Yes.
And, so I'm now on the season finale to season 2, but I started watching it yesterday, and they're real. They're only 6 episodes per season, but so I started watching yesterday after work, and anyway, so I've been watching. I was watching late last night, and I was watching all day today, and I'd just be sitting there watching an episode, and I'm just like, you know what, I could watch it here on my computer. I do that all the time, but it's Saturday. I would much rather watch it on my 75-inch screen TV in my bedroom. So I did, but that inevitably leads to you getting sleepy when you're just like in bed watching a good show.
Nice and warm.
Yep.
I do it all the time.
I fell asleep like twice today. I didn't sleep very long either time, but both times it was nice and refreshing. And Peaky Blinders is a great show. I know people have been telling me this for years, so it's not like that's anything new to anybody out there.
So refresh my memory. I know you said you're at the season finale of 2, but what's happening?
Into season 2 is okay. So that's when season 2 is when they go to London to try to hook up with the Jewish gang that's run by Tom Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
And then like a couple episodes before the season finale, the Jewish gang and the Italian gang get together, and they're going to take out the Peaky Blinders.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's like he's got them after him. Plus, I forget what's the major's name, the cop. I can't remember his name.
Can't remember.
He's trying to get him to take out the other dude. And so in the season finale, it's like the day he's going to take out the other gang member. So I haven't watched it yet. So that's where I'm at right now. But so yeah, so it's them basically kind of fighting for territory in London. So, but it's a good show.
Yep.
It's a little bit of a slow burn in the first season.
It gets better.
Yeah. No, it's good. I like it. So yeah, I'm gonna burn through as much of it as I can this weekend. But yeah, I've been meaning to watch Peaky Blinders for years. I mean, it's just one of those shows that like I've heard about, and everybody I know that's seen it has been like, it's fantastic, and you got to watch it. And I don't know, I just never did. One of those shows, just every time I'd be like, oh yeah, I need to watch that. And finally, the other day I was like, okay, because I finished up all the other shows that I was watching. I just caught up with What We Do in the Shadows. Finally caught up with the 5th season. Yeah, I think it's the 5th season, whatever the last season was. Finally caught up with all that. And I was like, damn, I need to watch something else. And it was either Peaky Blinders or Spartacus. Or like
that's a hard choice because they're both damn good shows.
Yeah, and I've seen the first season of Spartacus before, although I'm going to rewatch it. But I've never seen past the first season of Spartacus. But I was like, you know what? Let me. I already know I like Spartacus, right? I watched the first season, I liked it, and I just never continued watching it. So I was like, let me put on Peaky Blinders because I need to get into it. You know what I mean? Like I need to get myself hyped up for it. And so I did. So yeah. So after this, I'll probably pick up. I'll probably start watching Spartacus whenever I'm done with this. But
you know what? I started watching.
It's a really good show. Of course, when you're watching shit like that, and you're like, okay, now I want to learn about this shit because like it was loosely based on real events going on. So I started looking stuff up about it, Like, oh, what was going on? Who were the Peaky Blinders and all that kind of stuff. Don't do that because it kind of like ruins the whole show. And what I mean by that is it basically the real story of what happened like makes where the show could not have happened at all. Like everything in the show is made up. Like the show starts in 1919 after World War One. Well, Peaky Blinders were a gang from like the 1880s up until right around 1920 when they finally got taken out. I'm like, so the show starts basically when there were no more Peaky Blinders. Right?
So we're told.
Huh?
I said, or so we're told. They were
Well,
probably secrecy.
yeah. Well, and the other thing was I was looking up, you know how the Peaky Blinders, they're like, oh, they're named the Peaky Blinders in the show because they wear those fucking hats that they put razor blades in the front of them so they can use them and they fucking sling their hats at people. Yeah, that never happened. That's not why they were even called Peaky Blinders. They didn't put razor blades in their fucking hats. Like, that was not a true thing. That was something
they should have. That's badass.
It's badass. But yeah, it wasn't true. So I was just like I was reading stuff about it. I mean, I'm going to just stop reading about them. I'm just going to enjoy the show.
You say that's a cool idea, but then you would be the guy who has razor blades in your hat. You forget you have razor blades in your hat for a minute. You go to put your hat on. Ah, God!
Yep.
Well, they just put it like right in the brim of their hat where you can't fucking see it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they'll take their hat off from the back and then just
I know.
swipe the brim at people.
But you know that one of them would forget one day that they have razor blades in their hat and grab it by the bill.
I mean, they haven't yet, but although I have seen a bunch of fights that these dudes get into in the show, and I wonder how dudes like punching them in the face haven't cut their hands up doing it. Because they'll get like punched and their hat will get knocked off and shit. And I'm just like, okay. But, whatever, I guess. It's a good show. Even if it ain't true, it's a good show. So, of course, it's just one of those things like, I don't know what it, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm watching Star Trek, right? Like, I know it's not true. I don't give a shit. But if I'm watching something that's at least based on historical stuff that happened, you know what I mean? Like, I want to look up the real shit that happened. But sometimes it just kind of ruins it for you. Like, I can't remember. Sometimes you'll be watching a show and like, oh, about kings and queens or whatever. And then you'll read the real shit that happened. It's like, oh, like when I was watching Vikings, right? I was looking up a bunch of stuff about, the different people in there. And it's like half the people on the show weren't even alive in the same century. They would not have known each other. You know what I mean? Like, they weren't.
And the hairstyles don't match up.
Yeah.
Clothing.
Stuff like that. I'm just like, okay, you need to like stop digging into it. Just enjoy the show. But although Vikings was a phenomenal. Well, Vikings was good up until Ragnar died. Sorry, spoiler alert, people.
That happened like 8 years ago.
Look, it was still a good show after that. It just wasn't as good.
You know what? I still haven't actually watched all the episodes. It's been bits and pieces.
It's a really good show for the first. I think Ragnar's in it for the first 4 seasons, and then he dies, and then it's about his sons, and it's still a really good show. It's just not anywhere near as epic as it was before then. So
I kind of stopped watching it around when his son that couldn't use his legs started really going crazy and trying to take over everything.
Yeah, I think they only have it goes on for like 3 seasons after him. So it's like 4 seasons with him and 3 seasons without him. And yeah, and that was and like he was a real character. Ivar the Boneless was a real.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't in real life.
He wasn't Ragnar's son though. He was a Viking king. He was not related, or I mean, he might have been related, but he was not alive at the same time as Ragnar was. So, it was stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like they put together a bunch of stuff, but yeah, I don't know, man. When Ragnar left, and then before that, what was his name? What was Ragnar's friend's name? The priest,
the Englishman.
I can't remember his name. Anyway, they were like my 2 favorite characters, and they both die. You know what I mean? And by the time they're both gone, like, okay, I mean, it's still good, but it ain't as good as it was. So you can like stop watching after Ragnar dies. Like you can, and you get a complete show because it's basically all. I mean, basically for like the first 4 seasons, it's all about Ragnar's life. You know,
Yep.
like he is the central character. It becomes a different show when he's dead. It becomes about his sons, and there's no longer really like a central character. It's about all his sons, which he's got like 5 sons or whatever the fuck, 4 or 5 sons, and they all have like different stories and shit. So like, thank you, Tomcat, over there in the chat. Athelstan, he was a great character.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, it just becomes like, I mean, it's still a Viking show. There's still some of the same characters in there. You know, Floki's still in there. You know, there's a couple characters that are still in there, but it's you know, kind of watch it like they're 2 different shows. You know what I mean? It's like there's Vikings and then the sequel to Vikings that is different.
Well, there actually is a Viking sequel show, is it now? Isn't there?
Is there? There might be.
Like Viking like Viking something.
I wouldn't know. There's several Viking shows out.
No, I think you're right. I think there is like I think what's his name, Michael Hurst, who did Vikings. I think he did another Viking show later afterwards, after Vikings was over. That is kind of like a sequel series.
Yeah, it's Vikings Valhalla.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
You know,
I
Floki is Alexander Skarsgård's brother, right?
Yeah.
The guy that played Tarzan and stuff. I couldn't believe when I found that out because they don't look really much alike. Floki's like, he looks like a Viking, like he's hardcore, like he's been run down and put up wet, you know, and just.
Yeah, but that whole family looks like fucking Vikings because they legit are.
Yeah.
Like they're legit like fucking Norwegian, Swedish, or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole Skarsgård family is like legit. They're fucking Vikings.
Which show? I would say, which show was it where they had an actual guy from history and they changed him into a black woman? Which Viking show was that?
I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
oh wait,
one.
wasn't there? No, I'm having a flashback of something. Yeah, there was some. It's something that hasn't come out yet. It's something that hasn't come out yet. Like it's coming out on Netflix or Amazon or something. And they're like, oh, fuck, what is it? It's some historical fucking thing that's coming out soon. Oh shit. I'm having vague memories of what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's real historical.
It's historical.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't understand.
Someone in the chat might know.
I don't understand the like need to change. Like, okay, are you just changing it just to fucking like whatever? I don't, you know what I mean? Like, because everybody knows that's not a Norwegian dude, right? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not. And I don't understand the need. I'm not trying to get too political here, but I don't understand the need to like. I get to an extent up until we got to the woke insanity we're at now. But like to an extent, I understand like, you know, wanting to make sure people were represented, you know what I mean, in television and shit like that or whatever, right? Like you wanted, you know, you didn't want every little kid to only have like, I don't know, Luke Skywalker to look up to, right? Like throw some other people in there, but like just make them good characters. And a lot of shows and a lot of movies have done that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can put good characters in. And there's plenty of fucking great ass fucking stories to tell from all over the world that you can do that with, where you can put people of different ethnicities and religions and all kinds of shit. You know what I mean? Like you can do that. They just don't want to do that. They want to just take already existing things and just change the shit. And it's like, well, why don't you come up with, first of all, good characters? Like that's number one. Because I'm going to tell you what, if you come up with a good character, like I will ignore 99% of the other shit that may have changed about him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like you know, whatever, or get a good actor to play a role or whatever. This is why, like, you know, when they're coming out with all the new Marvel stuff, right? And when new Marvel stuff's coming out and X-Men's moving over, gonna start getting, we're gonna start getting mutant movies and things like that in the MCU and all that kind of stuff. Like, I was 100% down when Giancarlo Esposito came out and said he wanted to play Professor X. Like, he was tweeting about it. And I was like, fucking hell yeah. Because Giancarlo Esposito's fucking fantastic. And there's nothing about Charles Xavier that says he has to be a white dude, right?
Right.
No, it just has to be rich and from England.
He just has to be rich. Well, he's supposed to be from New York, but I think his family goes back to England, maybe. But he's from New York. But Westchester. Anyway, like, okay, cool. Or like when people have talked about, oh, James Bond needs to be black. I'm like, no, that's stupid. James Bond's always been white. But then they'll be like, well, Idris Elba needs to be James Bond. I'm like, okay, you got me there. Like, I would totally take Idris Elba as James Bond. Like, yeah. I like Idris Elba. Dude's cool, right?
Yep.
Like, if you wanted to have fucking Idris Elba be James Bond, I'd be fucking down with it. Sorry, I didn't see y'all in the back there. I just let
Jesus, man.
I thought I made y'all both fucking mods.
Okay, you said that? I never got no fucking link, no message, no email, no nothing.
I even logged in and it wouldn't even let me add in.
Really? It won't let. That's fucking weird. I made both of y'all mods. Okay, anyway. Sorry.
But the Viking show where the race and gender swapped, it's an older Netflix series.
Oh, it's an older Netflix series? Okay.
Yeah. As soon as they like did that, I turned it off. I was watching it.
Yeah.
What show was it?
Those are the most feared Vikings, the Black Vikings.
I think it's just Vikings on Netflix. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was something like that. I remember that was.
Historically speaking, anyway.
Like, there weren't enough black badass people in the world that you couldn't have fucking... Like, why did they have to be Vikings? Like, okay, give me shit for this if you want. I don't really give a fuck. My favorite Robin Hood is Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Right? I know a lot of people hate that fucking movie. I don't give a shit. I fucking love it. I grew up. That was like the Robin Hood that came out when I was like fucking 12 or something. 13, whatever, however the fuck old I was, right? Well, I love that fucking movie, right? And Morgan Freeman playing a Moor, fucking great. Awesome character, right? They didn't try to make him Little John, right?
Right.
They didn't try to make Morgan Freeman like fucking any of the other characters who clearly should have been white British people, right? They're like, you know what? Let's make him a Moor. Let's bring his character in. Robin meets him, when he's fighting in the Middle East, right? During the Crusades, and he brings him back with him. Perfect. You just created a great character and a reason why in like, I don't know, whatever the fuck year it was.
1100.
Yeah, there's
England.
a black dude in England with Robin Hood. You created a good story behind it, and you got a good actor to play the role, and you wrote a good character, and it made perfect fucking sense, and I loved it, right?
Yep. But
they don't want to fucking do that. They'll be like, oh, let's make Vikings black. What? No, Vikings weren't black. Like, I'm sorry.
But the reason why they justified it.
Valhalla.
Oh, okay. The reason why they justified it because it was that there were at some points in time in Nordic history where there were blacks there at like trading ports or came over being slaves after a war.
So they were being traded?
No, like sailors, being at the trading ports or something like that, or could
No,
have been
because back then the black people coming from Africa were the ones buying and selling slaves. At that point in time, they were buying and selling slaves.
I remember that was kind of like their reason why they're doing it, because at some point at some time there were blacks there. So let's obviously put them in a position of power within the Scandinavian lands,
Well, they can only make so many movies about turning around like a high school, Like, how many of those have they made?
Right.
Through the power of sports.
Yeah, through the power of math or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Well, obviously, the best teacher at a black school ever was Michelle Pfeiffer.
Mm-hmm.
And there was that one where there was the undercover cop who was like fucking going after gang members and shit. I can't remember the name of that one.
Well, my favorite one was
I remember that.
one of my favorite ones anyway was 187 with Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel Jackson, yep.
Dude, I fucking love that show. Remember when he cuts that dude's finger off?
Right. Then the next day at the class, he was like waving his fingers around. It was counting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that show is fucking. That movie is great. I love that fucking movie. If you've never seen 187 from, I don't know, like 1995 with Samuel L. Jackson, where he basically plays like if Punisher became a fucking school teacher. Like,
yeah.
It's a good movie, man. It is a good movie. But anyway, let me get this. We got a super chat here. Thank you. Totally not the ATF. Says, if they came out and said that the name of James Bond came with 007, the 007 job to protect the agent's name, I could understand. And can we make Magneto black? No, see, here's the thing. You can't make Magneto. We've had this discussion before. You can't make Magneto black because Magneto, part of the core of his character is that he's Jewish.
And
That's
Jews
the
are
thing.
the original blacks. So.
He's
What's so funny? Did I make it?
Yeah, what's so funny? Explain it.
Nothing at all.
no, but no, you and I've said this before. If you could do like, if you want to do, and it would make perfect sense to do this for Magneto, right? Like, because now at this point, it's been far too long since World War II to believably have Magneto still be in his prime and having been a Holocaust survivor. You know what I mean? Like, it's too long ago at this point, right? We're 80 years into this, you know. So what I've said before is if you're going to do a modern take on Magneto, you can do something, but you have to have something where, because the core of Magneto's character is he was a child when this horrific genocide was happening, right? And he
I got it. He's Iraqi.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. And he needs to have that core tenet in his head that he has seen the worst of humanity. And that's what makes him believe that humans are the lower race and mutants are the superior race, is because of what happened to him as a kid. And I've said this before, like, if you wanted to make Magneto black, have him having grown up in the Rwandan genocide or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, have him have experienced something so horrific that he thinks humans are just scum and animals that need to be wiped out. Because that's the core to his character, right? So if you're going to make Magneto black, just make it a good fucking story. Make it make sense for the fucking character. Because it makes perfect sense the way Eric Lencher is, you know, a Holocaust survivor. Makes perfect fucking sense why he has the views of humanity that he does. And if you can find another example in history where it would fit for him to be, I don't give a shit, black or Hispanic or whatever the fuck, that is equal to, you know, that level of genocide and evil that happened during World War II, then go for it. Just write a good fucking story and get a good fucking actor to play it. Again, if you wanted to have Idris Elba play Magneto, I'd be okay with that. I'm just saying, but give him a good fucking story. Give him a good backstory.
Yo, I got it. I got it. So Magneto was attending a music festival on October 7th.
Yes, that's true.
Took me 2 seconds. Okay.
Or Magneto, I got one for you. This will definitely make it into the MCU. Magneto was a kid in Washington, D.C. on January 6th.
That's right.
I thought you
Hey,
were
no,
going
no,
to say
no.
All the
That was a
horrible
sad
things
day.
that humanity would do.
Yeah, his dad was a Capitol Police officer.
Yeah.
who died. He was killed by a fire extinguisher.
I'm just saying, man, just make good fucking stories and good characters and find good actors to play those characters. And a lot of this bullshit of people complaining would go away. Because it's not like we haven't dealt with characters changing throughout the years in different media and things like that. And for the most part, us geeks don't give a fuck as long as you do it well and it stays true to the spirit of the character. But when you just randomly change shit for no fucking reason other than to just sit there and fucking kowtow to some woke agenda. And not only does it not make sense for the character, but it doesn't make the character better. And in fact, makes the character worse. That's when there's a fucking problem. And you're just doing it just to fucking virtue signal instead of actually making a good character choice in some way. Like, that's where the bullshit lies. I mean, it blows my mind the people that fucking come out and talk shit because people didn't like the Star Wars movies or didn't like Star Trek or didn't like this or that or whatever the fuck it is. And they point out the bad characters and they point out, and everything is just, well, you're just racist and sexist and homophobic. No, you're writing shitty stories with shitty fucking characters. I don't give a fuck if somebody's black or a female or gay. If it's a good story with good characters, it doesn't fucking matter. You're talking to the fucking geeks who have been between things, especially like Star Trek, who has been very fucking progressive my entire goddamn life. Okay? You're talking to groups of people that were on board with black heroes and female heroes and gay characters long before the rest of the fucking world was.
I never understood how they get by with when people didn't like modern Star Trek because of the bad writing. They were calling them racist, bigoted, and sexist. It's like, we're Star Trek fans.
Yeah, exactly. We're Star Trek fans. Have you ever watched Next Generation? Like, what the fuck? What do you mean we're racist and sexist? Like, we love those shows because they were done well.
Even
there was a lot of fucking left-wing shit put in Star Trek. There always has been. Gene Roddenberry was a progressive, and he always wrote that. But you know what? He wrote good stories, and he wrote good characters. And it worked. It fucking worked.
Okay, I got it. So Magneto was part of a podcast, and then he switched genders from male to female, and then got kicked off the podcast.
I mean,
can I make
not
an actual
unprecedented
suggestion?
I feel like I've seen this before.
I have an actual.
Now he talks to a ceiling fan.
That's how it started. He made it move.
Oh god!
Damn.
I say, here's what they do. Magneto still grew or was a kid during the Holocaust, but Red Skull came there and like because he was a mutant and Red Skull noticed, and they started experimenting on him with Red Skull's blood for some of the super serum.
I mean, that would make sense. They could certainly do that.
And that had an effect where either he aged a lot slower or they then put him on ice, kind of like Captain America, but he lived because he had part of the super soldier serum.
I mean, you could. I mean, it's precedent in the MCU. You could have a character that's been around since World War II that we know. Certainly the Russians know how to keep people on ice so that they age slower because they did it to Bucky. They would only pull him out when they needed him. And the rest of the time they kept him, I don't know, they kept him in some kind of fucking machine, but essentially they kept him on ice so that he didn't age, right?
And Disney know how to keep people on ice.
That's true, they do.
They do.
Just ask Walt Disney's head.
And you could say, like, he got thawed out after the fall of the Berlin Wall.
Mm-hmm.
So he'd be middle-aged at this point. He wouldn't be 80 years old.
Or what I like, because I think this opens up the door for a lot of stuff, is you can use the snap to explain a lot of shit. You know what I mean? Because they said that in the movies, like the snap released a level of energy across the universe, especially on Earth where the snap originated, that was unprecedented, has never been seen before. So you can say all kinds of shit happened, like Magneto woke up, you know, or it activated mutant genes in people. And so now there's more mutants than there was before the snap. You know what I mean? Like there's already stuff that's been established in the MCU that you can use as like a catalyst to explain some of these X-Men stories that are going to happen, you know. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff you could do. Let me get this other stuff here. Let's see. MSB 9021 says, stopped an argument with a black coworker over privilege. I said, hey, what have you got to complain about? You had the first Treasury Secretary. Get over yourself. Okay.
Wait, I thought that was Alexander. Wait, no, he made the Treasury.
Maybe he did.
Yeah, I thought that was Hamilton. I was like, no, they didn't. Unless he's
Okay,
referring to
okay,
the
okay, I
person
got
who
it, I
plays
got it.
Hamilton now is black.
So Magneto started off as he was a Coast Guard for the Montana Coast Guard when Canada invaded.
Yes. I like this. I like where this is going. Yes. Yes. Tell us more.
And his name was... Never mind.
Luke.
His nickname was Duke.
His nickname was Duke. There we go.
Yeah.
His
He
name
was
was
in
Luke.
the Daryl Dixon Brigade, the
Yep.
Purple Crayon Eater.
And he has no idea the Duke means shit.
Yeah. He never figured that one out for some reason.
Did you all know that Canada did a lot of war crimes in World War II?
I believe it. Like what?
So, like, they had a...
Hey, remember what chat we're on, Jolly?
Okay. You just mentioned Canada invading, and it made me think about it.
So, anyway.
But they did it politely, so
They did say they're
there's a
sorry.
difference. Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't know, man. Anybody watch anything good this week other than Peaky Blinders, which I watched because it was awesome?
No, I actually started For All Mankind like a week ago, and then
How far are you into it?
I got to season or episode 2 of season 1, and then all this happened, and
God damn.
You
I
got
haven't started
sidetracked.
watching it again yet.
I rewatched Hackers a couple of days ago.
We were
Still good.
Wait, rewatch what?
I rewatched Hackers.
Oh, Hackers? Oh yeah, I love that. That's one of my favorite '90s movies. Which, by the way, we're gonna be talking about '90s shit tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Still good. Still holds up.
Great movie. Angelina Jolie still looks amazing in that movie.
Yes.
Yeah, she looked better in there than she did in Gia.
In anything else ever?
Yeah.
No, Laura Croft.
Laura Croft,
no,
yes.
No,
She
Hackers
looked-
still.
No, Hackers. She looks way
Hackers,
better.
yes, but Laura Croft, that's probably the second best movie she looked in out of everything else she's ever done. She's always looked like shit.
Look at her now.
And the animated
Worse.
movie.
Wait. What about Wanted?
Beowulf.
Where she was animated.
Yeah.
Just CGI.
That's when she was her third hottest.
No, I'm giving Wanted as third hottest.
Which one?
No, is that one where she was in the video game Laura Croft, where she was the third hottest?
Wanda was okay. I actually watched them make that.
Anybody else? There was 3 trailers I watched this week that were all pretty good. First one, I think, is the big trailer that came out this week was Roadhouse.
I'm actually kind of pissed about that.
I saw that trailer.
Yeah, I seen that trailer.
I mean, it's Roadhouse in name only, really. Like, it's not a retelling of the original
It's
story.
Roadhouse and concept.
Roadhouse.
That's it.
It's Roadhouse inspired, which I'm fine with. I'm way better than that than in them just redoing the first one again.
Yeah,
You know what I
okay,
mean?
that makes me feel better.
Yeah, I'm way better with that because it's like it takes place in a different place. He's a different character. Similar story in that a bar hires him to come in and help them out, but for different reasons, seemingly not to like help protect the bar, but like, or not to help protect the bar from like shitty customers and stuff, but like because there's people trying to fucking take out, like there's gangsters trying to take out the bar.
I think they're trying to get
to take the
there's like
land.
a big like corporate developer guy.
Yeah, who's using like gangsters to fucking try and
Got
fuck the
Conor
bar up so
McGregor.
they can buy the land and shit. Anyway, it's a different story. And then Conor McGregor plays like the bad dude in the movie.
Okay, yeah.
Which, you know.
I will
Anyway,
say, Conor McGregor as a villain is a good idea.
Yeah,
It sounds like Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man without motorcycles.
kind of.
And
It was a good
great
trailer.
movie.
I mean, the trailer was good. I dug it. Like I liked it. It looked like a good movie. Like it looked like a good. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't look like this ain't winning no Academy Awards. Is this going to be a movie I'm going to watch and enjoy for 2 hours? Probably yes.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Harley Davidson Marble Man on Blu-ray. I should check that out.
So
That's a great movie too, by the way.
It is. It's a damn good movie.
Wait, what?
Harley Davidson, the Marlboro Man.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic
Yes.
movie. But yeah, I don't know what the fuck I'm saying now anymore.
Second trailer.
Oh yeah, second trailer I watched was this show called or movie coming out soon called Monkey Man.
Oh, I saw that today.
Yeah, like I've never heard of this. Didn't know what the fuck it was, and I saw this thing. It's Monkey Man, and I was like, okay. and it's what's that dude's name? Dev Patel.
It's Dev Patel's directorial and writing debut.
Yeah, and I'm not real clear on the story, other than it seems to be like a revenge movie, and Dev Patel's gotten a little bit ripped, and it takes place in like India and like in Mumbai or something like that, and like it's him fighting fucking gangsters. Anyway, it just looks like a cool action movie, which I've never thought of Dev Patel as being like an action dude, but like the trailer's fucking great.
In China, at certain zoos, they pay Chinese people to dress up as like whatever kind of monkey it is, and pretend to be the monkey and get snacks from people. So the people come by and feed the monkey, and they all like they're like suspending disbelief or whatever, or if they actually believe that it's a monkey. But you can tell it's just a dude in a monkey suit, like eating bananas.
Yeah, they like pay the guy to do that,
and they pay him. They pay him to do that.
That's a job.
See, I thought
like, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
When you first said Monkey Man, my brain initially went to, kind of like a John Wick inspired movie where the owner of Harambe exacted his revenge because they killed his monkey.
What was that movie with Clint Eastwood where he walked around with the monkey?
Oh, that was God damn it.
That was a good movie too. I haven't seen that one forever.
Any way you which you can, any way which way you lose.
Any which way but here, or no, wait. Anywhere but loose, or
any which way but loose.
Any which way but loose. There you go.
I never heard of this.
And the monkey like punches people out, like one punches people.
Right turn, Clyde.
That was pretty good. I liked it. The Monkey Man trailer looked cool. The other trailer I saw this week that got me excited was they dropped the full trailer for Netflix Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yes, I did see that.
They gave you a boner?
Yeah, it gave me a fucking hard on, like a rock hard, solid fucking boner.
I mean, when you saw Ozai, the man's ripped.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you just imagine just like jizzing all over his abs. Yeah.
I didn't know you and your son were gay, Matt.
What does my son have to do with it?
Your son Jolly.
$20 is $20, my man.
I mean, it's not gay if you're getting paid, but
if you do scenes together, I don't know, man.
I don't know.
As long as they're recording and it's going to be sold, you're in the clear.
But no, the trailer was awesome. Look, I love Avatar: The Last Airbender. It was a fantastic show. I watched it with my son back in the 2000s, and then when they dropped Legend of Korra, not as good, but Legend of Korra is still really good.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the franchise. I like the story. That movie that M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong did was just one of the worst pieces of shit I've ever seen in my life.
Hopefully this one will make that one non-existent.
Well, if the trailer is anything to go by, it totally will. The trailer was awesome. The trailer looked like they had just taken the animation and like just put live action over it. Like it was great. And everybody's like the correct race too. That was one of the big things about the movie is everybody was fucking like they had all the people that in the show are clearly like Chinese or Japanese or you know what I mean?
They
had them all be like Indian. And then they had characters that should have been like Indian, like Aang, who's supposed to be kind of like a Buddhist monk. Not Indian, I guess, but
he'd be like
he was white. And then the kids that were supposed to be basically like, Eskimos were white. And like they mixed up all the races, and it was stupid because that was one of the cool things about Avatar: The Last Airbender was like each nation was represented, kind of similarly to how it would be in our world, like Fire Nation was like Japan, and you know what I mean? Like they had like there were like all the people were different, right? They weren't all like one race of people on the cartoon. Everybody was different. But then they do the movie and yeah, they made some of the people different, but it was like the wrong race. Like they randomly changed like people from Japan into people from India for no reason. Just No reason at all.
Google movies without any black people, and the number 1, 2, and 3 movies are Lord of the Rings, and yes, Lord of the Rings.
There wasn't any black people in it. I don't know.
Not
yes,
a
there
one.
were. Yes, there were.
The orcs.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying that's because you're right. I don't remember any black people in it, and the orcs were the only ones I remember that were like completely covered in makeup. So they could have been anything under there.
But then the Uruk-hai were white though, because
they were racist.
Yeah, they were the white orcs. They were the white. They were the Leos of that.
What?
Sorry, Leo. I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can feel the love.
Yeah.
Speaking of love, the Bob Marley movie's coming out.
I've seen that trailer a couple times. I want to see it. Not enough to go to the movies, though.
I don't know a lot about Bob Marley, so that's why I'm interested.
I know a little bit about Bob Marley. Not a lot.
It'd be funny if they had it played by some white guy with dreadlocks.
I mean, it would be funny.
Jamaica might invade. They wouldn't get very far, but they do it.
So I got a question.
Just a bunch of bobsleds coming over the fucking.
What's your question, Corey?
I don't know how many in here are Harry Potter fans or even really care for the series, all the movies.
I like Harry Potter.
I like
I've watched all the movies at least a couple times.
Have y'all seen the supposed trailer for the 25th Harry Potter, where I think it's like all AI generated, but they're coming out and saying that Voldemort had a son, and it's Harry's got to team up with what's his name?
Draco.
Blonde kid. Draco, to go and save their kids because they got kidnapped. And I looked it up. It's not being done, but it looks like it's a real trailer, and it looked like it'd be pretty good. And what made me think of it is because of Slytherin Queen out there. I didn't know if y'all seen this yet, because it looks like a legit trailer.
I'm wondering if they pulled it from, because that Harry Potter game's out, which is supposed to be a great game, by the way. I've never played it.
Maybe
the Harry Potter game that came out last year.
You know the kid actors in that movie. They made them grow up in England so that they would have an authentic English accent.
Yeah, I've seen that meme too. It's true though.
Right. But yeah, I mean, it was done very well, and they were all obviously at their age they are now. But I don't know. I kind of want them to do it because how.
I mean, look, the first 3 Harry Potter movies are definitely kids' movies.
Yes.
And so I those are fine. I've watched them, but they're not my favorites or anything. I do like the 4 after that when
shit starts getting real.
They hit
because it was the first 3 I think were directed by Christopher Columbus, and he was making kids movies, which is fine. I get it. They were kids' books. But then he left, and they brought in other directors, and the stories got a lot darker and much more serious, and they let the characters grow up some. And the movies just, I thought, got better after that as an adult. You know what I mean? Like, they were more interesting because they weren't just kids' movies anymore.
That dude's a busy guy, explorer, director. Like, what else did he do?
Yeah. Right.
Man, we know where most explorer directors end up going.
The
island.
I was thinking the bottom of the ocean.
The island?
I was talking about the island, but
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
But
I'll see if I can find that clip and send it to you, Matt.
Yeah.
That's something we never talked about is like Harry Potter. It might get brought up every once in a while, but
I mean, I think part of it is just because it's a series of movies and books, and that's really about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it's not like a big franchise like Star Wars and Star Trek. You know what I mean? Or Marvel, or even Lord of the Rings has had more things for it than Harry Potter has. So I think there's just and the other thing is most people I know have never read any of the fucking books.
I've read the first.
They've just seen the movies, So,
I mean, if your last name is Columbus, how are you going to name your fucking son Christopher? Like, fuck you. It's like if your last name is Christ and you name your fucking kid Jesus.
well, no, he was named because he comes from an Italian family that named him in honor of Christopher Columbus.
And I'm saying that's gay.
Contrary to what people in this country believe, in Italian families, Christopher Columbus is seen as a hero.
That's the whole reason Columbus Day is a thing.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of the younger people now in this country are being told that Christopher Columbus was an evil person.
Well, I guess there's a lot of Mexicans named Jesus too, so you're right.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Clone High? There's a character in there named Jesus Cristo.
Makes sense.
I want to point out Jorge Cortez's comment real quick. Have you seen that clip yet for J.K. Rowling didn't write a masterpiece?
Oh yeah.
Lucky Star Wars movie.
Oh yeah, totally.
It lines up if you actually compare the two. I mean,
it's like dead on. Yeah,
exactly.
It's like
100%
dead
accurate.
on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wait,
Still good though.
J.K. Rowling just copied Star Wars?
Yeah, it just made a suckier version.
Although she did expand upon it quite a bit, because I think when you look at all the comparisons, basically what Star Wars did in like 3 movies and no books, she did in like 8 books. She spread out over like 8 books.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, I would say she almost kind of made it happen if like the Jedi, like it was still the prime of the Republic, if like Luke became a Jedi at that point and had to fight later.
I don't know about you guys, but I want a sorting hat, like a fucking big ass sorting hat you can wear around on like anytime it's like Halloween or whatever. You got your fucking costume, you just wear that with a robe, you're good to go.
Yeah, pretty with much. A giant corncob pipe.
A wizard arrives when he means to.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk about the 90s. The 90s were, for me, a great decade. I don't know about the rest of you out there. I loved the 90s. 90s has some of my favorite movies, some of my favorite TV shows, some of my favorite music, hands down. I loved the 90s. I loved I loved being a kid in the 80s, and I loved being in my teens and early 20s in the 90s. Like it was a great decade for me. I know a lot of you out, Jolly, you don't remember the 90s because you were.
I was there for 10 whole months
of the 90s.
I think that's when our civilization peaked. Like the Matrix was right.
Yeah, you're right. But I want to talk about some cool stuff from the 90s: movies, TV shows, toys, stuff like that, because I like the 90s. So we're going to talk about movies first. Everybody can throw in their own opinions on what their favorite movies in the 90s were, but I also wanted to look at, this is IMDb's, according to, user ratings, their top 100 movies of the 90s. Now,
how was The Matrix 98?
I don't know. It should be like in the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Godfather Part 3, please. What the shit? Should not be on this list. Dracula was a good movie. Matrix should be in the top 5.
Wait, hold on. Look at the scores though. Like it's like Godfather 7.6, Dracula 7.4, but it's above the 7.6. Matrix 8.7, and then if you keep going up,
is garbage.
If you keep going up, it's below 8.7. So Matrix is below whatever the one above it is.
Yeah, but this is based on like a bunch of different.
Yeah, it could be like box office ratings.
Yeah,
how popular it is now, how much it gets searched on IMDb.
Of course, you get modern people going back and like bomb old movies, like review bomb old movies because they're problematic.
Yeah.
Okay, then look at gross and votes. Matrix got 2 million votes. The one that beat it got 300,000. Matrix grossed 171 million. The one that beat it grossed 12 million. Like, I don't fucking get it, bro.
I don't either. That's not the point.
This also could not be in order.
Well, supposedly it's supposed to be in some kind of order. I don't fucking know how. I don't even know what the Shadowlands is. So that movie
it's better than The Matrix.
Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. I've heard of this movie, but don't know it. Terminator 2 should be like number 1 or 2 for the 90s, but whatever. Pom Poko, Sling Blade. I never liked Sling Blade. I know some people got a hard on for that fucking movie. That movie didn't do it for me. Sorry. Babe? Like if you
Babe's
were
a good movie.
fucking 10, maybe.
No, Babe's a good movie. It's like a wholesome, like maybe for like young, not young kids, but like kids, you know.
It was Charlotte's Web before Charlotte's Web.
No, that's Jolly. Are you tarded?
I know Charlotte's Web was a book first before Babe.
Book, a cartoon, and a movie all before Babe.
No, Charlotte's Web the movie came out after Babe.
No, not the
I read it
original
before
movie.
anything.
Oh, I'm talking about the remake.
There was a
It came out
movie
when I was
back
a
in the
kid.
fucking 70s or 80s for Charlotte's Web that I watched as a little kid.
Yep.
Oh, well.
You fetus. Don't know what Central Station is. Joy Luck Club, I feel like I've heard of, but I don't care. Madison,
Yeah.
Force,
Female one.
Feeling Beauty. Dances with Wolves is good. I do like Dances.
That's a fucking great movie. It's not good. That movie's great.
Yeah. Clerks is good. I like
Yeah.
that.
Also great.
Fugitive, great movie. Love that.
Yeah.
Apollo 13 is a great movie. American History X is a great movie. Jackie Brown's great. Edward
Man.
Scissorhands. It's a Tim Burton.
Man.
It's a classic.
It's a classic.
It's
Tim
mid.
Burton movie, but it's not one of my favorites.
Yeah, mid.
7 is a good movie. You know, Bottle Rocket. I've never fucking seen Bottle Rocket.
I don't
I've
think
never
have
watched this fucking movie.
I don't even think I ever heard of that.
It's the movie like it's like one of the first movies Wes Anderson did. It was like
his
the movie that made
first
Luke
feature.
Wilson and Owen Wilson stars. I don't know. Ed Wood is fine. Fight
Bored
Club's
me to
my
death.
favorite fucking movies ever. I fucking love Fight Club.
Yep.
That should be like top 10.
Yes, it should be.
I fucking love
I
Fight
think
Club.
since Ed Norton ruled the 90s.
Michael Collins. I think
Never
I've
heard
seen.
of it.
It's like Irish Revolutionary War stuff. Don't know what Perfect World is. LA Confidential. I don't even like that movie, and I've watched it, and I don't think it was that good. Success was good for when it came out.
M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong Twist. That was what made it good.
Lion King. Okay, yes. Lion King is one of the best Disney movies of all
The
time.
video game was better.
Yeah.
The video game for Lion King was so fucking much fun, dude.
I played it like last month. I got it on Super Nintendo.
I used to play it with my niece and nephew when they were little, and like they would get to a part that they couldn't beat, and then give me the controller, and I would do it for them, and then they'd keep playing. It was fun.
And we got Beauty and the Beast. Okay, I understand why it's on this list. I don't really care about Beauty and the Beast.
Didn't care for it either.
Miller's Crossing is a great like gangster movie if you've never seen it.
Never heard of it.
Insider. I think
Heard
I've
of it. Don't know.
I don't
if
fucking
seen
remember it. We got Big Lebowski. Is a good movie. I'm not a Big Lebowski fan like some people
Yes.
are.
Big Lebowski, 10 out of 10. Should be top 10.
Reservoir Dogs is a great movie. One of the greatest movies of all time. Face
Number
Off.
one. That should be number one.
That should be number one of the 90s right there. Face Off is fantastic. My neighbors, the Yamadas.
Never heard of it.
Never heard
Never
of it.
heard of that movie.
That's another Ghibli movie.
Calendar, don't know it. Naked Lunch is a fucking weird ass movie. I've seen it once, and I don't know what the fuck I watched. But it's a David Cronenberg movie, so that kind of explains why I don't know what the hell I watched.
Mhm.
Dark City's fantastic. I love Dark City.
Me too. That's a good movie.
It's a great movie. People
It's a
versus
weird
Superman.
movie. It's hard to follow. It's like The
It is.
Matrix without fucking. I don't know, dude. It's weird.
It has a bit of a Matrix vibe in it. You know, a year before the Matrix came out, and it's done by what's his name, Alex Proyas, who's the same guy that did The Crow. So, People versus Larry Flint is a good movie, but not
Yeah,
great.
good.
Rhapsody in August, I've never heard of. Memories, I've never heard of. Boogie Nights is pretty good.
Mm,
I think it's a little overrated, but it's
yeah,
fine.
very overrated. in my
I
opinion.
don't know what Until the End of the World is. Cider House Rules, I have heard of but never seen. Bad Lieutenant, I don't think I've seen that one. I know what it is, but I don't think I've seen it. Pleasantville,
Mid.
it's fine, I guess.
Yeah, it's not bad.
The Adjuster, I don't know that one. Usual Suspects, love that movie.
Yeah.
Remains of the Day sounds gay. Bound. I don't know what that is. Natural Born Killers. I think is overrated. I'm gonna be
Hated
honest.
it.
It's
I
okay.
think
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a good movie.
Yeah,
it's a good
Hated it.
movie that people like talk about as if it's the greatest fucking thing ever. That's
No,
why I say
it's
it's
not.
overrated. That's why I say it's overrated. Like it's good. I like it, but I think it's overrated.
Didn't like
Probably
it.
inspired some fucked up shit, dude. To be honest, though.
Whispers of the Heart. That sounds like some shit Jolly would know.
right.
I haven't seen that one.
Romance. Unforgiven is a great
Oh, yeah.
fucking western.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Not
Never
a
heard
fan.
of Secrets and Lies.
You've never seen Unforgiven, Jolly? You should see that one. It's good.
No, I've seen it. I'm just not necessarily a fan.
No.
It is a little slow moving for like today's pace of movie, I would suppose, but it's still a good movie.
Never heard of
Very well
Rehearsal.
acted.
Only Yesterday looks like another Jolly movie.
That is a good movie.
Yeah, exactly. See, what did I say? It's a
I like that one.
Felicia's Journey, don't know it. The Ice Storm, don't know it. Raise the Red Lantern, don't know it. Philadelphia is a good movie. That's actually a really well acted movie. It's a
Never
depressing as fuck. Like, it's depressing as shit. I think I've only ever watched it once, but it was good. I mean, just depressing. Fear and Loathing Las Vegas.
AIDS.
That movie just doesn't. I don't know. Doesn't do it for me.
If you don't do drugs, it doesn't make sense. If you
Dead
do
Man.
drugs, it's great.
I've never seen this movie. I've heard of it. I've never seen it. Porco Rosso sounds like another Jolly movie.
He fights Nazis.
Ah, see, it is a Jolly movie. Barton Fink, I may have seen it. I don't know. Saving Private Ryan's fantastic fucking movie. Love
That's
that
top
movie.
10 also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quiz Show is another great movie, which took me a really long. I didn't watch Quiz Show up until like sometime in the last 5 years. I finally watched that movie. That's
I
like
watched
a
it
really
when it
good
was on cable. Yeah.
Being John Malkovich is good, not great, but it's very fucking weird.
Very
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. Kind of like Lawnmower Man, in my opinion.
Nightmare
good,
Before
but-
Christmas. It
should be.
fine.
Yeah, it should be
It's
top
just-
20. Yeah.
It's
Dude,
the same
kids
with-
these days, like kids younger than Jolly, are still wearing Nightmare Before Christmas hoodies and shit today.
Yeah.
It is more of
Yeah,
an
but
IP.
do you think most
now.
of them have ever actually watched the show?
I think
Or
some
they-
of them
or they
probably don't
wear
even
them
know what it
because-
is.
That's what I'm
It's
saying.
like
I feel
kids with
they
a
wear them
Metallica
because
t-shirt.
it's just in fucking Hot Topic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I
Like
mean?
kids with a Metallica t-shirt.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
Pink Floyd, yeah.
It's funny that
movie
that
was
like Hot
really
Topic's
good.
been selling the same shit since 1999.
Yeah.
No, not anymore. They switched up the pop culture stuff, then more of like the gothic stuff now. It's all pop culture shit. And like
Perfect
from the
Blue.
40s
That's
days.
another Jolly movie.
Oh, don't you
To
talk
me-
bad about Satoshi Kon.
Nightmare Before Christmas is.
It looks like a
highly
stupid
overrated.
movie that sucks, Jolly.
Actually, you know, like part of it. What was that? God, what is her name? It's Mila Kunis. It's the movie about the ballerina dancers, Black Swan. Yeah, like half that movie's ripped off of this film. I say ripped off. Like I think they actually bought part of the rights
I didn't
so
like
they
Black
could do
Swan.
certain scenes.
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Stern are dead. I've heard of this. Don't know what the fuck it is. Chasing Amy's a really good movie. This was like Kevin Smith's peak was the 90s.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
He kind of went downhill after that, but Toy Story, yes, that definitely belongs on the list. Breaking the Waves, I've never heard of. Wedding Banquet, never heard of. Once Upon a Time in China, that's a good movie.
Yep.
It's a Jet Li movie. The Player, I don't know if I've seen this one. I think I know what it is. Sweet Hereafter, don't know it. Dead Man Walking, I think I've seen it, but I don't remember if I
I've
liked it.
seen it. Yeah, I don't remember either.
Mhm.
Audition is this movie I've heard of for a long time. Is like supposed to be a great like Japanese horror movie about some chick that like dismembers people or something. I don't know, but I've never watched it. Shawshank Redemption, one of the greatest movies of all time.
Should be top 5.
Yeah, that should be top 10 at least.
That's
Yes.
a fantastic movie.
Damn good movie.
Drink, Man, Woman, don't know. Fargo, overrated movie in my opinion. Like I like it, but it gets way too much credit. I know too many people. I'm just like, okay, it was okay.
Yeah, it was okay.
Hard Boiled is fantastic. Chow Yun Fat. Oh yes, John Woo movie, fucking phenomenal. Dreams. I don't know what the hell that is. Hamlet. I don't know if I've ever seen that version. Silence of the Lambs is a classic.
Yep, cult classic for sure.
Rushmore, again, I feel like is an overrated movie. I think most of Wes Anderson's movies are overrated. Goodfellas, great movie. Life is Beautiful, never seen it. Sense and Sensibility, never seen it. Europa, never seen it. Magnolia, I'm not sure what that is. Wait, is that the Tom Cruise movie? Is that weird-ass Tom Cruise movie? I think it is, yeah. I've seen this. I remember just thinking it was weird. Let's see. Princess
Mononoke, favorite movie of all time.
It's a shitty movie. It's a
Mononoke.
Yeah, it's really bad, and the dog sucks. And you watch the whole movie hoping the dog dies.
That's not.
Like,
he's a wolf.
Yeah, he's a shitty character, and then like the chick that's with him is just like you watch this movie just being constantly annoyed, wishing they would just die. Like within the first 5 minutes, you're like, God, I wish these characters would die.
They're not even into the first 5 minutes. They don't show up till 30 minutes in.
And then like you're just like watching and just exhausted and just bored, and you're wasting your life while you're watching this movie at the same time. Like it's simultaneously boring and infuriating, and all the characters in the movie suck. The story's awful. Like it doesn't even make any sense. Like the plot holes you could drive a Mack truck through. It's an awful movie.
It's funny because you don't even know the plot of it, and you're just telling me how.
I have no idea. I've never watched this movie. But
you should
watch it, so I'm going to talk shit about it.
You should watch it with which one of your daughters likes anime? Watch it with her.
Yeah, the middle one. Yeah, Malcolm X is a good movie, but it's Denzel. It's mostly a good movie because of Denzel.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Schindler's List is a great movie. Pulp Fiction, love that movie.
I think it's overrated.
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction?
That's one I like.
No.
I don't feel. Oh, that's number one. We just got to number one. Fuck, dude.
I think.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not a good movie. I just think it's overrated.
There were a lot of movies that should have been on that list that were not. Let me name a few.
Clueless.
The Crow.
Yep.
The Crow is one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yep.
Mallrats.
Yes.
Another one. Yeah.
Better than Clerks. Heat. I hate Robert De
Yeah.
Niro,
Yes.
but that movie is
Yes.
phenomenal.
Fuck yeah.
Galaxy Quest. Hello.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Why isn't that movie on there? This movie, I don't remember if this is late 90s or early 2000s. I feel like it's late 90s. Am I wrong? Catch me if you can.
That's early 2000s, isn't
That's
it?
early. Okay, then never mind. We won't mention that one.
I think. I'll look it up.
Look it up. Tell me if that's 90s or 2000s. We're all waiting.
Now I'm playing Heads Up 7 Up with the movies on the did you name this? Did you name that? Like fuck, I wasn't paying enough attention. Plus you flew through that shit, dude. You were reading them off. We couldn't even recognize half of these movies. Because I don't know what half of these movies are for a top 100 90s movies list. It kind of sucks.
Catch Me If You Can came out in 2002.
Okay.
And Tombstone.
Yeah, you were talking about Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. You know, that was a 90s movie, right?
Yep.
This is one that should have been on the list. Gross Point Blank. I fucking love this movie. If somebody out there has not seen that movie, do yourself a favor and watch that fucking movie.
Or High Fidelity, another good movie with John Cusack.
High Fidelity is another great movie. Well, let's see. Birdcage was, Birdcage is another one that should have been on that list. That's my favorite Robin Williams movie ever. Birdcage is fucking hilarious.
Or Mrs. Doubtfire. Shit, that wasn't on there either.
Doubtfire, yeah. Let's see. What else?
Or what was the one? Dead Poets Society.
Dead Poets Society is great.
Was that 90s or 80s? I think that was 90s.
Yeah, Dead Poets Society was 90s. It was like early 90s, but yeah, it was 90s.
Dating One Like Pretty Woman.
Fifth Element.
Overrated. Overrated.
Fifth Element. Thank you.
Oh yeah, Fifth
Yeah.
Element.
Yeah.
Yep, that should
Broken
be on our
Arrow.
list.
Boondock Saints.
Oh,
Batman with Michael Keaton, says X Adam 1. Also true.
Yeah, Broken Arrow was good.
Mm-hmm.
Lily says Home Alone and Home Alone 2 should be top 100. I disagree. I don't really give a shit about those movies.
I do.
The first
one.
The first one, I was still young enough to appreciate it. By the time the second one came out, I did not give a shit. I was older. Like, the first one was like 1989 or whatever the fuck it was, 1990. Mm-hmm. And so I was like 13, so I still appreciated it. But by the time the next one came out, when I was like 15, I could not have given a rat's ass about fucking Home Alone.
What did Kevin McAllister's dad do for a living?
That's the good question.
He sold drugs, is what he did. He fucking sold drugs. That's how he afforded a house that fucking big and could take his family on a French vacation for fucking Christmas. His entire extended fucking family.
Or he cooked the books for the mom.
Maybe.
Someone in the chat said Batman with Michael Keaton. No, that couldn't have made the list because that came out in 89.
That's 89, yeah. And I'll be honest, I don't like Batman Returns.
No.
Which me and Duke have a big argument over this. He loves that fucking movie, and I don't know why. Because that is a movie that is just, like, you can tell the first movie did so good that they went to Tim Burton, and said, make another Batman movie and do whatever you want. And he did. And he shouldn't have. He shouldn't have. Because it's not a great Batman movie. Like, first of all, the people have done it. Batman's only in the movie for like 16 minutes of the whole fucking movie. Mm-hmm. It's mostly about fucking Penguin and Catwoman. Which, I mean, I'm fine with seeing Michelle Pfeiffer in skin-tight leather. That's cool and all. But, like, it's not really a fucking Batman movie. So, thank you, Paiva out in the chat says Spawn. Dude, I love 1997 Spawn.
No.
That movie still holds up to this day. That was ahead of its time for a comic book movie.
Nah, it was mid at best.
Oh, speaking of comic book movies in the 90s, what about Blade?
Blade, yeah.
Yes, Blade.
Davy Jones says 13th Warrior.
13th Warrior, phenomenal movie. Love that.
Groundhog Day.
Was Groundhog Day the 90s?
Yeah. No, I think that was late 80s, wasn't it?
I think that Willow. Was like wait, that was 80s.
1983 or something.
Groundhog Day was 93. So, yeah, it should have been.
Okay, so, yeah, Groundhog Day should be on that list. Yeah. There's a ton of good movies that weren't on this list. You know what? Fuck IMDb.
And some that shouldn't have been on that fucking list.
Yeah, like Princess Mononoke.
Yeah, exactly.
Movie. Cannot. I got to put it out there. You should never watch that movie. It's awful.
I walked away a couple times because my wife was needing some help. Was Speed on there?
Speed was not on there. No. Why not? Phenomenal movie.
Mm-hmm.
But
man, that was a good
I was looking through this.
It's almost like someone made that list who was not alive to see the movies in the 90s.
Yes,
true. Bill and Ted.
First one was 80s. Second one was 90s. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey was like 91 or something.
Under Siege.
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Dusk Till Dawn's a fantastic movie.
Yep, it's got one of the hottest.
When did Dogma come out? Was that 90s or early 2000s?
No, that was late 90s, wasn't it? Let me look it up.
I think it was late 90s. I love fucking Dogma is, I think, Kevin Smith's best movie.
Mortal Kombat.
It was 99 when Dogma came out.
Yeah, I fucking love Dogma.
The first
I got a lot of friends though that hate that fucking movie because it like bashes the Catholic Church. I'm like,
dude, as trash as Mortal Kombat was, it deserved to be on that list more than like half the movies on that list.
It did. It totally did. If for nothing but the soundtrack alone was awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat's a way more. By the way, let's be clear: the first Mortal Kombat, not that second one. That second one was a piece of shit.
Horrible.
But the one, because the first one came out in what, 95, 96, and the second one came out in 97, 98, and it was awful.
Dude, every other Mortal Kombat was like the first one was bad, but okay, it was like watchable, like it was good enough, you know. Everyone after that was not good enough.
What?
Was Independence Day on that list?
Oh shit! No, Independence Day was not on that list.
Wow!
God damn it!
Those lists are generated by those random people. They're not really actually data driven.
Then
That
how
is
dare
awful.
they make them then?
When was the Stargate movie? When did that come out?
All right, Pilot, you're getting.
I think in the 90s. Wasn't that in the Stargate movie? It was like 92 or something, 93?
92. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good morning. In less than an hour, aircraft from here will join others from around the world. And you will be launching the largest aerial battle in the history of mankind. Mankind. That word should have new meaning for all of us today. We can't be consumed by our petty differences anymore. We will be united in our common interests. Perhaps it's fate that today is the July 4th. And you will once again be fighting for our freedom, not from tyranny, oppression, or persecution, but from annihilation. We're fighting for our right to live, to exist. And should we win the day, the July 4th will no longer be known as an American holiday, but as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night, we will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
I got chills.
I
have chills.
Yes.
I got a Woody with that one. I ain't gonna lie.
Come on. Greatest fucking speech in any movie ever.
No shit, man. Damn.
Anyway.
What year did Showdown in Little Tokyo come out? Was that in the 90s or was that late 80s?
Oh, that's 80s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Wait, Showdown. No, sorry. I was thinking Big Trouble in Little China. Scratch that. Showdown in Little Tokyo. Which one's that?
That's the one with Brandon Lee.
Yeah, Brandon Lee.
That was early
wasn't it still 80s?
That was
What
no,
it?
that was early 90s.
Okay.
And Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah.
Man
1991.
was the biggest dick ever. That's the biggest dick
Braveheart.
I've ever seen on a man.
Yeah.
How many are you looking at? Shit.
Total Recall.
That was 1990. It counts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Braveheart has the second best speech, says Jorge Cortez. Or
True
George.
Lies.
True Lies. Another
Lies
one.
is great. That's a great
The Patriot.
James Cameron movie.
Yeah. Was that the
Was a
90s?
Patriot 90s?
I think that was early. Let me look.
Look it up. Because, yeah, the Patriot. I love the Patriot more than Braveheart. I like both of them a lot. But,
Yeah, no,
Kindergarten
that,
Cop.
it missed it. It was 2000. The Patriot came out.
okay. Missed it by that much.
Yep.
Kindergarten
So,
Cop.
these are supposedly the best TV shows of the 90s. I mean, The Nanny? Really?
I love that
hate
meme
that
where
movie, boys.
it's like, where do you see yourself in 6 months? And it's that scene from The Patriot where
Patriot.
he's hiding behind the tree and like
No,
the redheads are walking by.
UN uniforms instead. Mystery Science 3000
Yes.
is great.
Yes.
Stargate.
I love that show. MST3K was the shit. Back then. I could just sit there and watch it for like an hour, you know?
Mr.
I
Bean.
love Mr. Bean.
I've only seen a couple episodes of Mr. Bean.
Nah,
I never got the humor, dude.
That was
90210.
overrated.
Never cared about it.
Look, I watched it because I was a teenager when that show came out. So, like, yeah, I did watch it. I would not now go back and say it was one of the greatest shows of the 90s.
No.
How many of those people are still alive, I wonder?
I think all of them except for Luke Perry.
Yeah, and
They're
what's his face
all
in the
alive. Luke
front-
Perry's the only one that's died.
The one in the front's actually a race car driver. I can't remember his
Nobody
name.
gives a shit about Melrose Place
Nope.
or Blossom or Ellen.
Ellen.
Hey, I love Blossom. Now,
I forgot Ellen was a show.
Dawson's Creek. Never watched an episode of
Didn't
this. Never watched Felicity.
Nope.
Never watched Ally McBeal. I did like Spin City. Spin City was pretty good.
Yeah, I kind of watched it a little bit.
Pretty good. I may have seen a couple episodes that everybody
I
loves.
watched it. It was
I
good.
watched it.
Like,
Fucking
Man, I miss Michael J.
Yeah.
Fox.
Home Improvement was awesome.
That should have been number one.
Wings.
Didn't care.
No.
I seen Wings. I don't remember if I liked it. Martin was great.
Oh,
I
of
fucking
course.
loved Martin.
Man.
Doug, I could give a
Yes.
rat's ass about.
No,
Doug
Rugrats
is
can go
great.
fuck itself.
I watched a bunch
Oh,
of them.
dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs was great. Beavis and Butthead, yes,
Of course.
totally. Law and Order could not give a
Didn't
shit
care.
about. Couldn't give a shit about ER. Third Rock from the Sun was weird, but it was decent.
Didn't
Yeah, it
care
was
for
funny. I liked it.
Animaniacs was great.
Yes.
Oh hell yeah!
Dude, have you seen the new intro for Animaniacs?
Fucking Magic School Bus. No, I have not. I know there's a new show, but I haven't seen it.
So it's all like, it's got some inclusive stuff in it.
Oh, of course. Of course.
That's all.
Park. I don't think that was
Nobody gives a
in it.
fuck about Magic School Bus unless you were like born in 1992. I fucking love Frasier.
Yeah, Fraser was good.
I like
Nah.
Frasier.
It had its moments, but nah.
I've never seen Oz.
Oh,
Never
Oz is good. It's
I've
good.
heard nothing but good things about it, but I've never watched it.
Yeah.
Daria was like for moody goth chicks, so I never
Didn't
watched
care
it.
for it.
Married with Children, one of the greatest
Ah.
shows of all
Oh,
time.
Yep.
Yep.
Adventures of Pete and Pete, never seen.
Dude, Pete and Pete was great.
Pete and Pete was like one of those Nickelodeon shows when I was no longer watching Nickelodeon.
If you were like 3 years younger, you would have loved it.
Probably, yeah. Loved Kids in the Hall. They were great.
Kids in the Hall was great.
Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh,
All right.
great.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, it was great.
It was a
Mr.
TV
Vito.
show. That was the 90s.
I've seen a few episodes of this, but I don't remember a lot about it. Murphy Brown can go suck
Hated
itself. Full House. I fucking liked all those gay ass TGIF
Yeah, I like Full House.
shows.
How many
Living
of those
Color
children were abused?
Oh,
Living Color is one of the greatest sketch shows of all time.
yep.
Mhm.
That show is great. But I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yep.
Never watched Boy Meets World. Simpsons, of course. Yeah, I get that.
Boy Meets World.
I fucking love me some Saved by the Bell.
Oh,
It does
great
not
again.
hold up, by the way.
I think it does.
I don't
For me,
think
it does.
but
No. Room 222 was better.
When's the last time you tried to go back and watch Saved by the Bell?
I did. I watched it. Well, I know I would.
I tried to go back and watch it probably about like 10 years ago, and I was like, oh, I
I
can't.
cannot
For
stand
me, it
Dustin
still
Hoffman.
holds up. For me, it does.
Let's see. I like the Wonder Years a lot.
Oh, yep.
I liked it. I watched it, but it was mid to me.
Haven't they
That
done?
was like my mom's favorite show, dude.
Haven't they done a new version of the Wonder Years?
Yeah.
I don't
I
Yeah,
haven't watched
probably
it.
about like the 90s now, right?
Is it any good? I don't. I
don't
have no
know.
idea.
I never watched it.
I mean, I just heard they were doing a new version of the Wonder Years, but I've never watched it. So,
Did they do the gay ass
they're
voiceover
back
thing?
now.
Freaks
I
and
think
Geeks,
they're
I have
back.
never watched. X-Files is another show I've watched.
The
I
first,
even though it's sci-fi, you'd think this was a show I've watched. I like have seen a handful of episodes.
I think the first
There's so
three
much
seasons are
there that
great.
it's like fucking intimidating. Like,
I was
oh,
like,
I'm gonna watch the X Files. Okay, how many seasons? How
That's
many
like-
episodes per
and
season?
this was back when they were doing like 26 episodes a season.
Yep.
Like,
And they
holy
did
shit.
a couple movies. Then they brought the season back, the series back for what, like couple seasons, and then canceled it again. There's a lot.
Someone
of
should come up with like here's like the top 20 episodes of X Files that you should watch.
All right, so
Probably
I
is
love
a
me some
list.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Just
Yes,
watch the
great.
shit out of that. My So-Called Life, again, this is like a show for goth girls in the 90s. I never watched a single episode.
Mm-mm.
Seinfeld, shitty show. Nobody.
Fuck you, dude.
Seinfeld's great. No.
No, seriously, I hate fucking Seinfeld. It's annoying as shit.
I just never watched
is
it. I've
one of the
heard it's
great
great,
shows
but I've
ever.
never watched it.
We're from Texas and we don't understand things, and Seinfeld's about them New Yorker people. We don't like
I
them.
don't like them down here.
Get on ding ding no New York, take your ass back where you came from.
Twin Peaks, I've never watched.
Not me either.
And what do we got? Number one is Friends. I did watch Friends. I don't think I've seen all of it,
It was
but I
okay.
did
to me.
watch Friends.
That was my sister's favorite show.
I don't remember. See, this is like the difference in age for us. Back in our teens and 20s, that like 4 years made a big difference, I think.
It's my mother's best show. She loves Friends.
Well, my oldest sister, who's like, she was like 13 years older than me. This was her favorite fucking show in the world. Like, she watched every episode,
Okay,
God
so-
knows how many times, you know?
Because when it was on, this was probably her age group.
Yeah, because they were all her age, yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Even though it didn't start in the 90s, but it ended in the 90s, what do you think of 21 Jump Street?
I
think
love
it's on the list.
Although the last couple seasons weren't very good.
I
When
grew
like
up
Johnny
watching
Depp and Peter DeLuise and everybody left the fucking show, and it was
Yeah.
like, they got some people. I don't even remember who the actors were that they replaced them with. It was that bad.
Same thing with Married with Children. It started in the 80s.
Yeah.
What was that other one? That was kind of like Married with Children in a way. Fuck, the dad was always down in his basement talking to that dog puppet.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Because he was crazy. Oh, it had what was it called?
Yeah, it had that loud
Blues Clues.
No, it wasn't Blues Clues. Fuck.
Maybe.
I know what you're talking about. I know who you I know the TV show. It just came.
Yeah, someone out there might know it. I'll have to look it up real quick. But yeah, that was a good one too.
Alf. Yep, old man butt wrinkles got it. Alf.
Unhappily Ever After. Paiva got it.
Yes, that's it.
Unhappily Ever After. Did you ever watch that?
No.
No.
I can safely say I've never watched it.
I think you'd like it. It's funny. It's kind of like Married with Children.
Yeah, because didn't that one have like a hot blonde in it too or something? Or
Yeah, and it had that son that was fucking retarded too. He ended up playing in John Q with Denzel.
We used to watch, like, laugh at it or whatever. We used to watch Roseanne every fucking night.
I watched it.
Roseanne's good, yeah.
Yeah, because it was based in Illinois, so that's one of the reasons why I watched it.
Let's see. Here's another list. Digimon? No.
Yep. Yes.
King of the Hill? Yes.
Digimon? Yes.
King of Queens? Never watched.
Yes.
All right.
We already talked about that.
King
I did watch Two Guys, a Girl, in a Pizza Place. I love that. Oh, fucking Sliders.
Hated it.
Fucking loved me.
No, Sliders was fucking awesome.
Started strong, ended weak.
Doug, Rugrats, and Ed, and
Great.
Eddie can all go fuck themselves.
Don't you talk about my childhood.
Doug was great.
La Femme Nikita, I never watched.
Didn't watch.
Early Edition, I've heard of, but never
It's
watched.
all right.
NYPD Blue,
Didn't care.
I've never really been into police procedural shows, so no.
No.
Loved me some Tiny Toon Adventures back in the day.
Yeah.
Pretender was a good show. I don't know how
heard
many
of
people remember it.
Nope.
It was based off of the guy that Catch Me If You Can was written about. So, basically, the Pretender is a fictional story about a dude who's just a genius and can pretend to be anybody. And it was based off the dude from Catch Me If You Can.
I remember
Who's
the
a
show.
real
because
guy back in the
character's name
1960s.
was Jared.
So it was a good show. Dinosaurs, great. I loved Ren and
Yeah.
Stimpy.
Yep.
Roswell. I think I
Didn't care
started
for
watching
it.
the show. I
I
watched.
watched
I watched
all
the
of it.
first season. Yeah.
I watched the whole series. To me, it was the ending was highly rushed because I think it was obviously not going to get another season, so they just fucking crammed like a season's worth of shit into one fucking 6-episode season.
Like Game of Thrones.
It was horrible. the
Is it
way
about
they did it.
aliens?
Yeah, it was when they were blended in with the civilians. They remade the show, and it's still going on right now that I know of.
Oh, what was the movie with Charlie Sheen about aliens from the 90s?
Oh, The Arrival. That's a good.
That's a
movie.
fucking great movie too.
Yeah, that's a good movie. I like that a lot. Then they did a shitty sequel that was awful. Oh, don't watch
Wait,
that
what
one.
was-
Just watch the first one.
What was
Starship
Braveheart?
Troopers.
Beavis and Butthead, Sailor Moon, Tailspin, Darkwing Duck.
Woohoo.
Okay.
Tailspin
great.
is amazing.
Hey Arnold.
Both of those are great. Darkwing Duck and Tailspin, that's my childhood, right? Like
Yeah.
that's like after school activities when
Yep.
in 1990, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Don't give a shit about Hey Arnold or The Practice. Outer Limits. I've talked about this one for a long time. One of the greatest sci-fi shows ever is the
For me,
90s
the
Outer
first
Limits
season.
show. It had like 7 seasons. Is when they brought Outer Limits back, from the original back in the 1960s, and fucking nailed it, dude. Like, it is a great fucking show. It's a great sci-fi anthology show. If you've never watched it,
Yep.
check out Outer Limits. Like, definitely check that show out if you like sci-fi. It's fantastic. Highly recommend it.
Outer Limits, please stand by.
And dude, there's still episodes of Goosebumps, the next one, that I think about to this day. That just like pop in my head.
I
didn't like it.
Again,
I read the books.
In 1995, I was 18, and so I never watched Goosebumps. I never watched it.
Since I
It's a
read
good
most of the
show.
books, I didn't like the TV show because it was a lot of stuff they cut out of it.
Yeah,
to get it down to like 20 minutes.
Books were definitely better. I read most of the Goosebumps books.
Yeah, same here.
Midsummer Murders, 1997 to present.
Damn.
That's staying power.
That means this show is still on. This got to be some British show. I've never heard of this.
English Detective.
Yeah.
Why do women like watching murder mystery shows so much?
They
or like forensic shows?
Don't care about Law and Order or ER.
I feel like they're plotting something.
I like ER.
Never the Tick. I think that's the cartoon Tick, which was good.
The Tick was good. Yeah.
Don't know what Keeping Up Appearances is. Never watched Kenan and Kel.
I actually like the live action Tick too.
Live action Tick was good.
Live action was good. It was good.
Recess. Never watched.
Great show. Great.
Voyager. One of my favorite shows ever.
Voyager.
The Critic. That was that animated show, right? Yeah. I know what it is, but I've never watched it. Magic School Bus.
Okay.
Fuck Itself. Third Watch. I don't even know what the hell that is.
I watched the first season. It was all right.
News Radio was a funny show. I like that one.
Yeah.
Rocco's Modern Life. Never watched. Animaniacs.
Oh, it was great. Rocco Modern Life is great.
It was?
Yeah.
Dude, he did the same thing with like movies and TV shows of the early 2000s. It would all be like 9/11 and terrorist attack thing. That's defending the homeland.
Pinky and the Brain was amazing.
Pinky and the Brain. I love Pinky and the Brain. I also, even though I was too old for this, I love Dexter's Lab. Like it was one of the like kids cartoons that I could watch in the 90s. That and like fucking SpongeBob for some reason. I could watch those shows.
Didn't care for it that much. But...
Millennium was the X-Files spinoff, which I think I watched some of it.
Yeah, I think I did the first season.
Vicar of Dibley. That's got to be a British show. Daria, we talked about that. Deep Space Nine, fantastic show.
Now that you've seen all of Deep Space Nine, would you rate it at top of like how would you rate it compared to the other Star Treks?
Well, we talked about this a few weeks ago when I finished it. Like Voyager,
just give me a quick like 1, 2, 3, like first, second, third.
Favorite one, but from an objective, non-biased standpoint, I would say yes. I would agree with somebody if they said Deep Space Nine is the best Star Trek show.
Clearly is.
So,
don't you make a Duke video about you?
What?
You know how Duke made the video about fucking New York versus LA?
Yeah.
Do I got to make a Duke video about you with fucking Voyager?
Why? Just because I just like the storyline of them being out on their own on the other side of the galaxy more than the storyline of them being on a space station.
Tell me you're gay without saying I'm gay.
Let's see. Home movie in living color. Superman the animated series. Love this show.
Do you think,
I like it better than Batman the animated series, but that
was my question. Bold.
Well, that's because I like Superman better than Batman. I don't.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? Like so.
Superman.
Gargoyles was great. I don't know what Absolutely Fabulous is. Batman Beyond was solid, although it only lasted a couple seasons. Don't care about Boy Meets World. I fucking like SpongeBob. I'm sorry. It's one of the few kids cartoons I like. And I think that's mostly because there's a lot of shit in it that is not for kids.
Yeah.
Strong
that
take.
Kids don't pick up on, but other people do.
SpongeBob should have ended after the movie.
I heard that they did studies about SpongeBob and the kids that actually watched it statistically got dumber.
They did. That's true.
Would not surprise me. That 70s show, I like that 70s show. I watched
it was okay.
Family Guy, of course, still on. Still a good show. Queer as Folk, never watched. Don't know what bottom is.
It's stupid.
Are You Afraid of the Dark? That was a Nickelodeon show, right?
Yeah, it was a Nickelodeon.
Yeah, it was good.
Farscape is fantastic sci-fi. Yep. Courage the Cowardly Dog. I've only seen a few episodes, but it was good.
Weird.
Oh, Briscoe County Jr. The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. Love that show.
Yeah, didn't care.
Pete and Pete, Northern Exposure. Like, I feel
Didn't
like I
care
watched
for it.
some of this show,
I
but
did.
I didn't really give much of a shit about it. Adventures of Tintin, that was animated. My So-Called Life, Babylon 5 is fucking great.
Yeah.
Daily
It's
Show, that shouldn't be on this list.
Nope.
Larry Sanders Show, never watched it. Mr. Show was a good sketch comedy show. League
I
of
feel like talk
Gentlemen.
shows shouldn't count.
I don't even know what the fucking League of Gentlemen is. Apparently, it's a British show. Jeeves and Wooster.
Isn't that what the movie was based on? The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was based
No,
off
that's not. No, totally
No,
not.
because that
It
was
says
based on a
it's
comic.
British sitcom.
Oh.
All right, these two right here are fantastic. Spider-Man and X-Men, the animated series.
Yep.
Both are phenomenal.
Spider-Man was
Yep.
cut down in its prime. We needed
It was.
another
It got
season.
like a shitty ending because it just got canceled.
Yeah, we needed one more season because we never actually got the full explanation of what happened.
Well, he never saved Mary Jane, right? Like
exactly.
Yeah.
Like we found out she came back, but we never got the explanation of how.
Yeah. Stargate, fantastic. Futurama's fantastic. Homicide: Life on the Street, never watched. Batman New. I never watched Batman New Adventures. I don't think
I watched it either. No.
It was just a continuation of.
I
the
am
animated
Alan
series.
Partridge. I don't know what that is. I did used to watch Whose Line Is It Anyway.
Me too.
I like that show.
Oh, I love Who's Line, yeah.
Spaced. Okay, so Spaced was only 2 seasons. Right? If you've never seen it, it's where Simon Pegg and Nick Frost first got famous.
Really? Never heard of
Yeah,
it.
it's only 2 seasons. It's a British show. It's only 2 seasons. If you're a geek, dude, you've got to watch this show.
I'm gonna have to look it up because I like both of those actors.
It's about 2 geeks. It's about geeks that live together. I think they tried to do an American version of it, and it just like was awful and didn't go well at all. Like nobody watched it. But it's about 2 people in their 20s and their friends and all this shit and their roommates and fucking like they're huge like sci-fi comic book geeks. And it's called Spaced, and it's a comedy, and it's great. Dragon Ball, okay,
Never
fine.
cared for it.
Brass Eye, Father Ted, The X-Files, Berserk, Oz, Dragon
Berserk.
Ball Z, South Park. Oh, South Park's in Honda. West Wing.
Dude, that's one. Okay, we were talking about this the other day. For a
What?
guy who watches as prolifically as much shit as you watch,
Yeah.
for you to not have seen South Park and not be not like it as much as you should is intriguing.
Well, no, remember, and I've explained this before. Mid to late 90s, I did not watch a lot of shit. Remember, I was in my late teens,
Right,
early 30s. So there's a lot of shows that started in the late 90s, like South Park, that I never watched. And because I never watched them, like with South Park, like, do you know what it's like to be like, oh, now I should go back and watch 25 years of fucking South Park? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
You don't have to watch.
enjoyable.
Okay, like the first 3 seasons of South Park, at least you could just skip though. Like, you know who the characters are. You just jump into it in like season 4 or whatever when it starts getting interesting and they start doing like more social commentary and stuff.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I just never,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of shit. Same reason why I never finished watching D Space Nine. It's like there's a lot of shit. Same reason I never.
And each episode of South Park without commercials, without the intro, without the credits, is what, like 15 minutes maybe.
Probably.
So you could bust through like 4 episodes an hour, you know.
Probably. Yeah. I just never have. Never watched West Wing's Freaks and Geeks. Never watched Cowboy Bebop. Did watch Friends. Batman the Animated Series listed as number 2.
Yep.
This is a good show. I'm not the biggest Batman fan. And Sopranos is number 1. Again, a show I have never watched, and I should.
I couldn't get into Sopranos.
I watched
It is
every
a show.
season.
My wife loved Sopranos, and she keeps telling me I need to watch it, but I just never have.
I
So-
mean, James Gandolfini did good in it. It was just not a show that I really cared for. I watched quite a few episodes. It wasn't that great.
And the final episode was just horrible.
but
Didn't
basically everything, like the big ones I remember are obviously all the Star Trek shows were great in the 90s. You had that crossover in the 90s. We had Deep Space Nine, we had Voyager, and we had Next Generation. All were in the 90s, even if Next Generation did start in the 80s. You know, Sliders was one of my favorite shows of all time. Until it gets to the last season, then Sliders.
Is that the season where they were like with the Cro-Magnon and shit?
No, that was season 4.
Did Sliders slowed?
Well, the Cro-Mags showed up in season 3 first. Then they were pretty prevalent in season 4, and then season 5 is when basically all the main cast was gone.
Okay, yeah.
And it was like almost a completely replaced cast except for Rembrandt. He was the only original character left on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And it was not great. But there's a lot of good shit in the 90s, man. I fucking love the 90s. But
what was that one show? I think it was in the 90s too. It was kind of like where they were out of time, but back during I want to say like
Homeboys in Outer Space.
Dinosaur era? Lost in Time? Was that it? No. Fuck, I can see the actors in my head. The main chick was blonde and wore kind of like a Amazon chick outfit. Let me see if I can find it.
No clue, man. All right. Well, now we're going to talk about toys of the 90s. Some of the best toys of the 90s. And here's the thing about it. My knowledge of toys in the 90s dies off after about 1994. Again, for the same reason, there's a lot of stuff in the late 90s I didn't watch on TV and stuff like that. It's because I just was not, I wasn't doing the toy thing. And I didn't start collecting again as an adult until like 10 years later. So there's a lot of toys. So most of the stuff that I remember fondly from the 90s are early 90s. Now, since other than I think Jared, I'm the oldest person here because me and Jared are the same age. Most of y'all will remember these toys fondly that I remember.
What was there, Sonny?
Well, except for fucking Jolly, because you weren't even born in the 90s.
Yes, I was.
Nah, not really. It's like that meme of like, I was born in 1999. I'm a 90s kid. You know, it's like, oh well, we will allow you on the council, but we do not grant you the rank of master. It's like,
well, joke's on you. You all die.
Technically, you were born in the 90s, but does it really count if you were born in 1999? Like,
Matt,
I don't know.
if you're the one saying that, does that mean I chop your hand off and then you get thrown out a window?
Probably.
Long as it's not the fat hand.
I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I'm trying to find. So I was
You
looking
gotta
at
use both hands, Leo.
No.
figure realm, but would you stop it, please, with your fucking pop-ups and bullshit, fucking ass motherfucker?
Super Soaker, period, 90s.
So, good lord, one of the best series of fucking action figures ever for me was all the Toy Biz Marvel stuff in the 90s. Like the stuff that started with like the early shit. Remember all these? They came out Marvel superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love these things, which like eventually morphed into, they basically turned into like an all X-Men line at some point. Which, I mean, I don't, which was cool. Don't get me wrong. I had all these fucking toys because whatever. But this shit was awesome. I love these things. I still have some of them hanging on my wall right now. They're fucking great because it's like the first time you're getting like Silver Surfer. And like this is the first Punisher action figure. Yeah. Come on. That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
It's fucking great. They were a great line of toys. They had a bunch of them too. All these accessories, fucking all kinds of cool shit. Loved the fucking Toy Biz Marvel shit. With all the X-Men and all the shit. It was fucking great. However, another line that I don't know, I don't know if we can count this as 90s. I say we can, because while it was a toy line that started in the 80s, it started in 88. And it had far more toys in the 90s than it did in the 80s. And that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I still maintain this is one of the greatest action figure lines, toy lines of all time. I don't know if anybody out there, any other 80s or 90s kids would agree with me. One of the greatest lines of all time. I mean, the most, first of all, Playmates did a fucking fantastic job of bringing back kind of that He-Man look to all their characters that had been dead for a while. But you will never see a more unique or eclectic group of characters like you will in fucking Ninja Turtles.
Oh, hell yeah. I fucking love the Turtles.
I mean,
Yep.
I had a shit ton of
fucking
Turtles.
mutated flying bat. There's a mutated cockroach, for God's sake. Look at this fucking-
Yeah, right. Yeah.
How the fuck? And it was great. I love this fucking line.
That's fucking awesome.
I would have these if these weren't so fucking expensive. They're expensive as hell to collect. Like just rando, like this dude. For some reason, let's get a psychotic chef with a pizza box for a leg. Weird.
But it's fucking awesome though.
It's fucking great. Just a giant dude called Muckman made out of trash.
That is fucking cool.
And these figures were great. Love this toy line. Still to this day, love this toy line. One of my favorite toy lines of all time. Hands down. Even though it was weird because I'm not that big of a Ninja Turtle collector now as an adult, even though I collect lots of other shit. But as a kid, this was the toy line I literally had every figure for. Every single figure, every single fucking playset, every single fucking vehicle, every single one. It was great. But my favorite toy line, definitely of the 90s. Maybe, I don't know if I wouldn't say it's my favorite toy line of all time, but I definitely think it's the greatest toy line of the 90s, which is what we're talking about here. Okay? Is going to be Exo Squad. Exo Squad were the coolest fucking toy line figures ever. Giant mechs that you had actual figures that fit in. How the fuck do you beat that? It is a cross between G.I. Joe and Robotech, all in one. They're fucking amazing. I still have one up there.
They're still around.
Huh?
Transformers, they're still around.
Yeah. Yep. That's true. They are. I fucking love. I think this is a toy line that so fucking totally should come back. I don't know why somebody has not jumped on this bandwagon at some point.
That's cool.
100%. That is a property that just screams to be brought back.
I mean, you bring this back, you get. I don't even care, what size the figure. I mean, the original figures were like 3-inch tall figures, but they had all the like G.I. Joe articulation, and the mechs were decent size. They were like 6-inch tall. I don't understand why somebody hasn't brought this back. And I would totally collect all these, but again, even more so than all the Ninja Turtles and all the other stuff. Dude, these fucking Exo Squad figures are expensive as balls, dude. Like, even you can go on eBay and find them all like missing parts and shit. And it's like, oh, well, this one's missing the figure and the missiles, and it's only $80. Fuck you. No. And I think it's because for whatever reason, I don't know why, the show got 2 seasons, and for whatever reason, the show and the toy line just didn't catch on. And I don't know why, because the show was phenomenal. I have gone back and watched it as an adult. It totally fucking holds up.
How much are each figure if they were complete with everything?
That's a good question. Let's look. I don't know.
That TV show I was thinking of a while ago, Jorge Cortez got it for me. It was called The Lost World.
Why the fuck do I got to sign in? I don't want to fucking sign in. I
don't know if y'all remember that. Yeah, The Lost World. It was from 99 to 2002. I thought it was earlier than that, but.
So, oh shit, wait. That's actually not bad for this. That looks damn near complete for $40.
Nice. Well, you're welcome. You can buy it.
I ain't got no money to buy this shit, but like,
Sure you do.
but cool. Oh, here's what. See, here's like this would be cool. What is it? 6 of them, but none of them have the fucking figures. Oh wait, that one does. Oh, never mind. Well, they do have the figures. Fuck you,
All
Corey.
$70.
I ain't got $70 to spend on this shit. But this is the one I have that somebody sent me brand new in package. And I've got him up there. It was Joe Schmo. If he's here, I don't think he's here tonight. I haven't seen his name in the chat. Joe Schmo got this for me.
Hell yeah.
It's the only one I have because I can't afford to buy these fucking things. Great fucking toy line. Fucking love it to this day. Giant mechs with, yeah, come on. Who didn't love that shit? If you've never watched Exo Squad, do yourself a favor and go watch that show. It was phenomenal, and I highly recommend it. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Hey, did they ever make a figure of Ripley from Aliens in that mech suit?
I think they made a pop, but not an actual figure.
I mean, I know, like, you mean where you could take the figure out and put him in the mech and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
There is one company that made a 6-inch scale version a few years ago, and I don't remember what company it was, but it was like an import, and it was very expensive. But that's the only one I know of.
See, why don't they come out with that? I'll buy it.
Yeah, no shit.
But that's the only one I'm personally aware of.
These days, that'd probably be like $100, $200 figure because,
yeah,
that's the way the shit goes these days.
Yeah.
But those are my favorite toy lines from the 90s. Again, most of this shit's from the early 90s because that's when I was still collecting toys as a kid. And then, yeah, there was stuff like G.I. Joe and Transformers were still around. And I guess with G.I. Joe and Transformers, you could kind of consider them whatever era they came out in. So there was plenty of 90s G.I. Joes and Transformers. Because they were constantly coming out with new waves and reinventing themselves every fucking, whatever. The 90s G.I. Joes were insane and great because, like, all of a sudden, like we were talking about this last night, you had, like, Ninja Force G.I. Joe that came out in the early 90s, but, like, for some reason, all the ninjas were wearing like neon glow-in-the-dark colors because that's what ninjas would fucking wear, apparently. I don't know. But the 90s were... I don't think G.I. Joe knew how to deal with the 90s. Because G.I. Joe through the 80s was all like camos and browns and greens and shit. And sure, you'd have some crazy motherfuckers on Cobra. But for the most part, it was like military colors and stuff like that, which worked. And then the 90s happened. And they're like, what do we do? I don't know. Make everything fucking neon yellow? Do tiger stripe this in bright orange and yellow for some reason, because that's realistic. But they were, I mean, it was the 90s, I guess. Who the fuck knows? Somebody out in the chat says Honda collected butt plugs. Did you? Did you collect butt plugs? I don't know.
I did a quick check. I put it in the private chat. There's in 2015, NECA did make a power loader, but it's very expensive now.
Oh, they did? Maybe that's the one I'm thinking of then. Because I knew there was one that you could buy. It was like the power loader with the Ripley figure. Although I thought it was 6-inch scale. By the way, is there a private chat? Oh, there is a private chat here. There it is. Okay. Let's see. Just didn't know how to get to it because I'm still trying to use this shit. And I'm still annoyed as to why you guys can't just come in on the stream if I made you co-host. I have to do it again. All right, that's cool.
Yeah.
This may be the one I'm thinking of. And yeah, I'm sure it's ridiculously expensive.
What's it going for?
Well, let's see. We have eBay open. We can just look and see. NECA.
Oh, about what I figured.
Jesus. Like $200.
Yeah, there you go, Leo.
Yep.
Yeah, you got $200.
Yeah, well,
Just go do some overtime, Leo. You got this.
going to
Right.
order it right
But
now. Yeah.
This one's more in my budget.
Yeah. Yeah.
$18 play school one.
I mean, if you want, you can break out your hooker bag and just go find you a street corner and do a couple
Looks
tricks.
just
and you
like
got
the
it.
movie.
Yeah, let's just go with this one. That's
Yeah, right.
that's the one I'll pick up.
Just like the
Jesus
movie.
Christ.
Yep.
$200. Oh, this
Just
one's actually signed by Sigourney Weaver.
$850. Damn.
Signed by Sigourney Weaver. Wow.
Signed
Oh,
Would
by-
you
this-
buy it if you had the money?
yes.
I'm sorry, I don't give a shit about signatures, so I would never do that. Sorry, I'm not spending that much fucking money on some shit like that. That's fucking crazy. But yeah, $200. Good lord. That's insane.
But
It's
if
cool. I'd love to have one. Be cool on the shelf, not for $200 fucking dollars. Sorry.
But what if you had like a poster that was, or a movie or whatever that was signed by Bill Pullman from Independence Day, and he says the speech to you while he's signing it?
Then yes, okay. Then I love that fucking
There-
speech.
Well, that means he got it signed himself, so he paid a regular price.
Yeah,
Wow.
but even regular price still is, it's not like you pay $25 or $30. Some of those people charge a lot of money for their signature.
Oh yeah, because that's how they make a lot of their money nowadays.
Oh, I'd love to like
you just
get him
harass
to
them on the
like
street.
say that intro, but like tweak it to like fit the intro to my videos or something.
Yeah, that would be badass.
Change up some of the words and then just have him do the speech that way.
Peter Cullen a few years ago, his signature was $75, and Shatner was at the same convention. It was $100.
Yeah.
Now you just stand out front of his house and wait till you come out.
That's how a large man carries you away.
I mean, maybe.
There's one thing I would love to have signed. It's a poster from Eric Church because it's the post like they did a run on a certain tour he did.
Mhm.
Like each city he went to has a different design. And I have the one from the show I was at. I would love to get that signed. Other than that, I don't really care.
There's some. I mean, I probably have some stuff that'd be cool to have signed or whatever, but signature is never really that big a deal, you know. Like when I was younger, I used to go to comic conventions and get comics signed and stuff. You know, like I had like some Eric Larson signatures, Todd McFarlane signatures. I had a Rob Liefeld signature on an X-Force #1. I used to do that kind of stuff, and then I sold all my comic books back in the mid '90s, and I don't know what the fuck happened to them after that. But
After you got some vagina,
that's really the only thing I ever
off.
really like tried to get signed. You know what I mean? So
Was that what happened? As soon as you got your first piece of vagina, and then you just sold all your comic books.
I mean, basically, I sold a bunch. I told this story before, but like in 90, I guess it would have been 93, 94. I don't remember exactly. I went to a comic book convention, and I'd been collecting comics since the mid 80s. And I'd actually around 12, I started getting into collecting comics and reselling them. And when I was 16, I went to a comic book convention, and I sold a bunch of comics, including a bunch of comics that I had bought. This was right around the time that Superman died. So Superman 75 had just come out, and I've told this story before, but me and my friend bought 50 issues of Superman 75 directly from Diamond distributors because you could buy them directly from Diamond at the time. And I don't know what we paid, $1.50 a piece, $1.50 a piece, whatever the price was for it. And when the comic came out, we went to the next comic book convention because in Dallas we used to get comic book conventions about once a month. There's a company called Bulldog Productions that used to put out comic book conventions. There was actually two companies, but Bulldog did a bunch of them up there. And anyway, we went to that next comic book convention and sold all 50 copies for $25 a piece because everybody wanted one because it had just happened. And so people that even didn't collect comics were going and buying Superman 75 because everybody thought it was going to be like, oh my God, Superman died. I've got to have this. Which, of course, if you collected comics, you knew he wasn't going to be dead forever. But whatever. And no, that weekend, no, not that weekend. Within a week or two of that, doing that, I took all that money I made selling comics. I made like $2,000 that weekend, and I went and bought my first car. So, and then once I got my car, then it was chicks, and then like I just at that point I started getting less and less interested in that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Started selling off more chunks of my collection, and was worried less about comics and watching TV and toys and that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Just to think, if you had saved just a handful of those, you could sell those now and buy a brand new car.
A handful of what? Not Death of Superman.
No.
That thing is worth shit now. No, I did have comics that were worth a lot of money, though. I mean, I really did. I had comics that if I had saved, I would have a healthy retirement. I mean, I had a bunch of old 60s like X-Men and Avengers. Like we're talking single digit numbers. Like I had like X-Men number 2, number 4, number 5, number 6. I think I had number 8 or 9. Like I had a bunch of early Avengers, a bunch of early Fantastic Four. I had early Daredevil. I had some Strange Tales, Tales to Astonish, early like 60s Spider-Man stuff. And then I had stuff that was like first appearance of Cable, first appearance of Deadpool, you know, shit like that, that has now become worth a fuck ton of money. I had comics that were worth money that if I would have kept them until today, yeah, I'd be doing pretty good. But no, I sold all that shit back in the 90s. So, you know, there you go.
Comic books are just like kind of taking a dive right now too, and like in the market.
No, doesn't surprise me.
There's a big thing within CGC going on. Like this dude was basically like scamming the system. He was actually like getting books. Let's see how to explain this. He was getting books graded, and they come back at a high grade. He was taking the label out because the label section is not sealed, but the comic book section is. So you can slide the label out, put it in, and have another book that's graded lower grade, and put that label in with the lower grade one. Damage the book, damage the case, send it back to CGC. They would regrade it, re-slab it for a slabbing fee. He'd get that lower grade book and now sell it for $10,000. That would be like $1,000 book. And then he had send back in the book that was really high grade back to him, get re-slabbed, and there were like books with the same numbers serial numbers getting sold through this dude, and it caused like the market to basically kind of like go in chaos right now. Graded books.
The peak of selling comic books would have been probably between 2012 and 2014. If you had a bunch of older books, that would have been when to sell it. When the MCU after Avengers was in full swing, and then we're getting the first Deadpool movie and all that kind of stuff. Man of Steel's out. Like that was a peak for comics at that time. That's when you like if you had an old collection, like that's when you fucking should have sold all your shit. You probably would have done pretty well. You should have sold all your shit then, and then immediately went out and bought Bitcoin. That's what you should have done in like 2012, and you'd be doing pretty good today.
I got screwed over.
Pretty goddamn good today.
CGC is very slow about grading their books, and I had sent in an Avenging Spider-Man number 9, which is the first appearance of Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel. Before the movie come out, that book was selling for about $1,000 if you could get a 9.8. And I had a pristine book, but they didn't get my book back to me until after the movie come out. And it came back as a 9.8. Now you can't get $100 for that damn book because the movie destroyed the value of that book.
That's not surprising. It was, yeah. Well, here's the thing about that fucking movie is I had no problem with the movie itself. I had a problem with who they chose to play her. I think she's a horrible choice for Captain Marvel. Horrible, awful choice. The movie itself was fine. Like, there was nothing amazing about it, but it was okay.
One of the dumbest things is making the Skrulls good guys.
Yeah, that didn't even bother me. Like, I didn't give a shit.
There are some of the evilest of evil characters in the comics.
Yeah, I know. But, like, it just, like, I thought the movie was fine. I thought if you would have gotten a better... You know who I liked is... I don't remember that actress's name. What's the God damn it. What's her fucking name? The chick from... She was in Game of Thrones.
Amelia Clark?
No.
She was in Game of Thrones.
She was in Game of Thrones. The chick, she was in later seasons of Game of Thrones. She married the youngest king, the youngest brother, after Joffrey died.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about now.
Oh, yeah. She played Marjorie Tyrell.
Anyway,
I know you're talking about.
That actress would have made a fucking awesome Carol Danvers.
Yes.
But no, we got some dumb, stupid, fucking... Ugh. Anyway, we're not going to talk about that. But we are going to talk about the fact that it is time to say goodbye, everyone. Yes, it's time. We've been here for 2 hours, and it is time to wish everyone farewell. I do. I'll be saying goodbye. And hope you guys had a great time with us tonight. Hope you have a great fucking weekend. Enjoy yourself. And yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back on one channel on Monday. The other channel will be back on Friday. So that's what happens here. Try to remember I'm streaming to 2 channels at the same time right now. But that will do it for today. I still don't have an outro. I need to come up with an outro for this fucking show or any of my shows. I don't have an outro for my show. Thank you, Real Glass. Natalie Dormer.
I just said that.
Oh, you did? Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh, okay, that one. Okay.
Natalie Dormer. Would have made a great Captain Marvel. But that is going to be it for today. So we will see you guys next time. Enjoy your weekend. And I guess I'm just going to end the stream because, again, I haven't made an outro for this new software yet. So later, dudes. Take it easy. All that good stuff.